Imagine that tomorrow, everything collapses. Your job, your relationship, your health. Most people would panic. They'd let themselves be consumed by fear, by anger, or by sadness. But not you, because you would possess something that almost no one has mastered, the inner power of the Stoics. And more specifically, the 10 principles of Epictetus. Principles capable of transforming any chaos into a controlled trial. Principles so powerful that emperors studied them, that Roman soldiers recited them, and that certain men today consider them their true operating system. The truth? If you apply these 10 principles, then nothing, absolutely nothing, can break you. You're about to understand why. We live in the most comfortable era in human history, yet men have never been more anxious, more fragile, more mentally imprisoned. You have everything your ancestors fought for: food, shelter, safety, freedom. But somehow, a text message left on read can ruin your entire day. A critical comment from a stranger can shake your confidence for weeks. A rejection can make you question your entire worth. How did we get here? The modern world has created a paradox. We've eliminated most physical threats, but we've replaced them with 1,000 psychological ones. Social media notifications, performance metrics, status comparisons, endless choices, constant judgment. Your mind wasn't designed for this. It was designed for survival in a world of clear, immediate threats. Now it's drowning in ambiguity, overwhelmed by stimuli, reacting impulsively to everything. You're told you're free, but you're a slave to your reactions. A slave to your emotions. A slave to circumstances you can't control. This is where Epictetus enters. Born a slave in ancient Rome. Physically disabled. Owned by another man. He had every reason to be bitter, to feel powerless, to surrender to his circumstances. Instead, he became one of history's greatest teachers of mental freedom. He understood something that most people never grasp. True power has nothing to do with your external situation. It has everything to do with your internal state. From his lectures in a small school in Nicopolis, he taught principles that would influence emperors, generals, and philosophers for 2,000 years. Principles that Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, carried into battle and into his private journals. These aren't abstract theories. They're mental weapons. Tested in the harshest conditions. Proven over millennia. And today, you're going to learn all 10 of them. Principle 1. What depends on you, what doesn't. This is the foundation. Everything else builds on this. Epictetus divided the world into 2 categories. Things within your control. And things outside your control. Within your control, your thoughts, your judgments, your reactions, your efforts, your character. Outside your control, other people's opinions, the weather, the economy, the past, most of the future, what someone else says or does. Most human suffering comes from trying to control what you cannot control. And neglecting what you actually can. Your girlfriend leaves you. You can't control her decision. But you spend weeks trying to understand why, replaying conversations, imagining what you could have said differently. You're pouring energy into the uncontrollable. You lose your job. The decision was made by someone else, influenced by factors you'll never fully understand. You can't control that. But you can control how you spend the next hour. The next day. What skills you develop. How you present yourself to the next opportunity. Someone criticizes you online. You can't control their opinion. You can't control whether others see it. You can't control whether it's fair. But you can control whether you let it define you. This principle sounds simple. It's not. Because your entire life, you've been taught to focus on outcomes. Grades. Promotions. Wins. Other people's approval. But outcomes are only partially in your control. Your effort is fully in your control. Epictetus said, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Stop fighting battles you can't win. Start dominating the battlefield you actually own, your own mind. Principle 2. Facts are neutral, your judgment destroys you. A woman doesn't text you back. That's a fact. A neutral event. It means nothing by itself. But immediately, your mind adds meaning. She's not interested. I'm not attractive enough. I said something wrong. She's with someone else. None of that is in the fact. All of it is your judgment. And it's your judgment, not the fact, that makes you suffer. Epictetus observed this ruthlessly. He watched his students torture themselves not with reality, but with their interpretations of reality. Someone cuts you off in traffic. The fact, a car changed lanes. Your judgment, he disrespected me. He thinks he's more important. People are terrible. You get rejected from a job. The fact, one company said no. Your judgment, I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. The system is rigged against me. A friend doesn't invite you to something. The fact, you weren't invited. Your judgment, they don't value me. I'm being excluded. They're fake. See the pattern? The event itself carries no emotion. You inject the emotion through interpretation. The Stoic solution, suspend judgment. Create space between the event and your response. When something happens, practice saying, "This is what occurred. I don't know what it means yet." Wait. Observe. Let the initial emotional wave pass. Then decide, consciously, what story you want to tell yourself. Most of the time, you'll realize the event is far less significant than your first reaction suggested. The person who doesn't text back might be busy, might be dealing with something you know nothing about, might be terrible at communication. None of it has anything to do with your worth. The job rejection might have been about budget, timing, internal politics, or simply not being the right fit. It doesn't mean you're inadequate. Your judgments are not reality. They're just thoughts. And thoughts can be examined, questioned, and changed. Do this for 24 hours. When something bothers you, ask, what is the actual fact here? What am I adding to it? You'll be shocked how much suffering evaporates. Principle 3, you are invincible if you only fight yourself. Most people think their enemy is out there. The difficult boss. The toxic ex. The unfair system. The person who wronged them. But Epictetus knew, the real battle is internal. You are only defeated when you defeat yourself. Through your reactions. Through your choices. Through surrendering your inner sovereignty. Imagine this, someone insults you in public. Tries to humiliate you. Wants to see you react. If you respond with anger, with defensiveness, with an attempt to hurt them back, you've lost. Not because they beat you, but because you let them control you. They pushed a button, and you performed exactly as expected. But if you remain calm? If you absorb the insult without reaction? If you look at them with quiet indifference? They have no power. Their attack dissolves into nothing. And you remain unshaken. The Stoics understood this completely. They trained themselves not to be invulnerable to attacks, but to be indifferent to them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about choosing where you invest your emotional energy. Someone betrays you? The betrayal is their action. Your response is yours. If you choose bitterness, obsession, revenge, you're fighting a battle against yourself. You're the one carrying the poison. The world will always throw things at you. Injustice. Disappointment. Cruelty. You can't control that. But you can refuse to let it penetrate your inner fortress. The moment you realize this, that the only person who can truly defeat you is you, everything changes. You stop seeing external events as threats. You start seeing them as tests. Opportunities to prove your inner strength. And you become, in the truest sense, invincible. Principle 4, discipline is daily. The untrained mind suffers from everything. The trained mind suffers from almost nothing. Epictetus knew that philosophy wasn't about reading books or sounding intelligent. It was about daily practice. Mental training. Building the psychological strength to handle whatever life throws at you. The Stoics had routines. Structured exercises they did every single day. Morning preparation. Before facing the world, they visualized challenges. They reminded themselves what was in their control. They prepared their minds for difficulty. Evening review. At the end of each day, they examined their actions. Not to judge themselves harshly, but to learn. Where did I react poorly? Where did I let something outside my control disturb me? How can I do better tomorrow? Negative visualization. They regularly imagined losing what they valued. Not to be pessimistic, but to appreciate what they had and to prepare mentally for loss. This isn't morbid. It's practical. If you've never imagined losing your job, your relationship, your health, you'll be devastated when it happens. Your mind will have no framework to process it. But if you've mentally rehearsed it, you'll still feel pain. But you won't be destroyed. Because part of you already prepared for this possibility. Think of it like physical training. You don't go to the gym once and expect to be strong forever. You train consistently. You stress your muscles so they adapt and grow. Your mind works the same way. If you only practice self-control when you feel like it, you'll crumble under pressure. But if you practice every day, in small ways, in low-stakes situations, you'll be ready when it matters. The Stoic doesn't wait for a crisis to build strength. He builds strength so he's ready for the crisis. 5 minutes in the morning. 5 minutes at night. That's all it takes to start. Ask yourself, what might go wrong today? How will I respond? At night, what disturbed me today? Why? What could I have done differently? Do this for 30 days, and you'll notice something profound. The things that used to shake you don't anymore. Principle 5, Radical Acceptance, Amor Fati. Amor Fati. Love of fate. This is one of the most misunderstood Stoic concepts. People think it means being passive, accepting everything without resistance. That's not it at all. It means accepting what happens as if you had chosen it yourself. Not because you're powerless, but because resistance to reality is futile and exhausting. Something goes wrong. You miss your flight. A deal falls through. Someone cancels plans. You have two options. Option 1, resist. This shouldn't have happened. Why does this always happen to me? This ruins everything. You create mental suffering on top of the actual situation. Now you're dealing with both the problem and your emotional reaction to the problem. Option 2, accept. This happened. I don't know why. But this is now my reality. What's the best move from here? You conserve your energy. You stay clear-headed. You respond instead of reacting. Amor Fati takes this further. It says, what if you treated every setback as if it were exactly what you needed? The missed flight gives you time for something unexpected. The failed deal protects you from a worse outcome you couldn't see. The cancelled plans create space for something better. You don't know the full picture. You never do. So why assume the worst? Epictetus taught his students to say, about everything that happened, this is what I wanted. Not because it literally was, but because that mindset transforms you from a victim into a participant. When you love your fate, whatever it is, you become psychologically unbreakable. Nothing can disappoint you because you've already accepted it. Nothing can defeat you because you've already embraced it. This doesn't mean you don't take action. It means you don't waste energy wishing things were different. They're not different. They're exactly as they are. And from here, you move forward. Principle 6, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Pain and suffering are not the same thing. Pain is physical or emotional. It's a signal. A response to damage or loss. Suffering is the story you tell yourself about the pain. The meaning you assign. The future you project. You injure your knee. The pain is real. It's a biological fact. But the suffering, I'll never run again. My body is breaking down. I'm getting old. This is the beginning of the end, that's all you. The pain might last days or weeks. The suffering can last forever if you let it. Epictetus, who was physically disabled, understood this deeply. He experienced chronic pain, but he refused to let it define him or control his mind. He taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You go through a breakup. The pain of loss is real. The loneliness is real. But the suffering, I'll never find anyone else. I'm unlovable. I wasted years. I'm behind in life, is optional. You fail at something important. The disappointment is natural. But the suffering, I'm a failure. Nothing works out for me. I should give up, is a choice. The Stoics didn't deny pain. They acknowledged it, felt it, and then refused to amplify it with destructive narratives. Next time something painful happens, try this: separate the sensation from the story. My chest feels tight. My throat is constricted. My eyes are wet. Those are sensations. They're temporary. They'll pass. My life is over. I'm worthless. Everything is terrible. Those are stories. And stories can be rewritten. Pain is inevitable. It's part of being alive. But suffering, prolonged, self-inflicted mental anguish, is always a choice. Choose differently. Principle 7, detachment from outcomes. You can control your effort. You cannot control the result. This is one of the hardest lessons to internalize, because modern society conditions you to be obsessed with outcomes. You're measured by results. Your worth is tied to achievements. Success is defined by what you produce, not who you are or how hard you tried. But the Stoics knew this was a trap. If your happiness depends on outcomes, you'll always be at the mercy of factors beyond your control. Other people's decisions, timing, luck, market conditions, circumstances you can't predict. You'll spend your life anxious because you're invested in things you can't guarantee. Epictetus taught, focus on what you can do. Release attachment to what happens after. You prepare for an important presentation. You research. You practice. You refine your delivery. That's in your control. Whether the audience responds well, whether they agree with you, whether it leads to the outcome you want, none of that is fully in your control. If you tie your self-worth to their response, you've given your power away. But if you measure success by the quality of your preparation and execution, you remain in control. You did what you could do. Everything after that is out of your hands. You start a business. You can control your work ethic, your learning, your decisions. You cannot control the market, the timing, whether investors say yes, whether customers buy. If you judge yourself by the business's success, you'll be devastated if it fails, even if you did everything right. But if you judge yourself by whether you gave your best effort and learned from the process, you can never truly fail. This doesn't mean you don't care about results. It means you don't let results determine your inner state. You do your part. You give everything you have. And then you let go. The outcome will be what it will be. And you'll be okay either way. Because your worth isn't in the outcome. It's in the effort. And that's something no one can take from you. Principle 8, selective indifference. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everything deserves your emotional energy. The Stoics had a hierarchy. They classified everything in life into categories. Essential, your character, your principles, your inner freedom. Preferred, health, relationships, meaningful work. You pursue these, but you don't depend on them for your inner peace. Indifferent, most external things. Wealth, status, reputation. They're fine to have, but they don't define you. Destructive, things that corrupt your character or enslave your mind. Modern life bombards you with noise. Social media notifications. News cycles. Drama. Other people's problems. Endless opinions about everything. Most of it doesn't matter. But you treat it like it does. You give attention to things that have no impact on your actual life. You get upset about events you can't influence. You engage in arguments that lead nowhere. This is a waste of your most valuable resource, your mental energy. Epictetus would say, if you don't want to be anxious, don't worry about things that aren't up to you. Someone you barely know has a negative opinion about you. Indifferent. A stranger on the internet says something stupid. Indifferent. You don't get invited to something you didn't really want to attend anyway. Indifferent. The economy does something unpredictable. Indifferent to your inner state, not to your response. This isn't about being cold or uncaring. It's about protecting your peace. About choosing carefully what you allow into your inner world. Because once you give something your attention, it has power over you. The Stoic is radically selective. He guards his mind like a fortress. He doesn't let just anything in. Ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? Will this matter in a year? In a week? Is this something I can actually influence? If the answer is no, let it go. You have limited attention. Limited emotional bandwidth. Spend it on what actually matters. Everything else? Indifferent. Principle 9. Don't define yourself by others. You are not who people think you are. You are not your reputation. You are not the sum of others' opinions. Yet you live as if you are. You check how many likes your post got. You worry about what your friends think of your choices. You adjust your behavior based on who's watching. You feel anxious when someone seems to judge you. Epictetus would be appalled. He taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, if you need others' approval, you'll never be free. Because people are unpredictable. Their opinions change. What impresses them today bores them tomorrow. What they praise, they'll later criticize. If you build your identity on that foundation, you're building on sand. The Stoic builds his identity on something stable, his own character. His own values. His own judgment of himself. Someone thinks you're not ambitious enough? Irrelevant. You know your priorities. Someone thinks you're too intense? Irrelevant. You know what you're building. Someone thinks you made the wrong choice? Irrelevant. You made the choice that aligned with your principles. This doesn't mean you ignore all feedback. Wise feedback from people you respect can be valuable. But there's a difference between considering someone's perspective and needing their validation. The Stoic considers. He doesn't need. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, constantly reminded himself not to care what others thought. He knew that even emperors can become slaves, slaves to public opinion, to reputation, to the endless need for approval. True freedom is when you can do what's right without needing anyone to applaud. When you can fail publicly and remain unbothered. When you can succeed privately and not need recognition. That's when you're truly free. Principle 10. Be the master of your inner world. This is the culmination. The ultimate principle. The reason Epictetus's teachings have survived 2,000 years. You cannot control the world. But you can absolutely control your inner world. Your thoughts. Your reactions. Your judgments. Your character. Your state of mind. This is your kingdom. Your fortress. Your sanctuary. And most people surrender it constantly. They let external events dictate their internal state. They let other people's words determine their mood. They let circumstances define their mental peace. Epictetus said, "No one can hurt you without your permission." Think about that. Someone says something cruel. They're just making sounds with their mouth. You're the one who decides whether those sounds have power. Something goes wrong. It's just an event. You're the one who decides whether it's a catastrophe or a minor inconvenience. You lose something important. It's a change in circumstances. You're the one who decides whether it destroys you or strengthens you. Mastering your inner world means this: no matter what happens outside, inside you remain steady. Not numb. Not emotionless. But unshaken. You feel emotions, but they don't control you. You experience disappointment, but it doesn't define you. You encounter obstacles, but they don't defeat you. This is what made Epictetus exceptional. He was a slave who was freer than most free men. Because while his body was owned, his mind never was. And that's what he's offering you. Not a life without problems. Not a world that bends to your will. But an inner fortress that nothing can breach. A mind so disciplined, so trained, so sovereign that external chaos becomes irrelevant. This is the highest achievement. Not wealth. Not status. Not even happiness. But this unshakable inner freedom. The ability to face anything: loss, betrayal, failure, pain, and remain yourself. That's what these 10 principles build. That's what Stoicism offers. And it's available to you. Right now. Today. Theory is nothing without practice. Understanding these principles intellectually changes nothing. You have to live them. Here are 3 practices you can start today. Morning alignment. Before you touch your phone, before you engage with the world, spend 3 minutes asking yourself 3 questions. 1. What is within my control today? Make a mental list. Your effort. Your attitude. Your choices. Your responses. That's it. 2. What might challenge me today? Visualize potential difficulties. Traffic. Difficult conversations. Setbacks. Don't do this to worry, do it to prepare. 3. How do I want to show up? Decide who you want to be today. Patient. Focused. Kind. Disciplined. Set your intention. This takes 3 minutes. But it frames your entire day through a Stoic lens. The Stoic pause. Throughout the day, you'll encounter moments that trigger you. Something annoying. Something frustrating. Something that makes you want to react immediately. Before you do, pause. Just for 5 seconds. In that pause, ask, is this within my control? Is my reaction aligned with who I want to be? Most of the time, the answer will give you clarity. And you'll respond differently. The pause creates space. And in that space, you reclaim your power. Evening review. At the end of each day, spend 5 minutes reviewing. Not to judge yourself. Not to feel guilty. But to learn. Ask, where did I let something outside my control disturb me? Where did I react impulsively? Where did I do well? What can I improve tomorrow? This is how you grow. Small adjustments, day after day, until Stoic responses become automatic. Stoicism isn't a philosophy to study. It's a practice to live. These 3 routines, morning, pause, evening, will transform you if you commit to them. Not overnight. But gradually, consistently, permanently. Epictetus started as a slave. Owned. Powerless. Physically broken. And yet, he became one of the freest men who ever lived. Not because his circumstances changed, but because he mastered the one thing that mattered, his inner world. He realized what most people never do. That external freedom means nothing if you're enslaved internally. By your emotions. By your reactions. By your need for things to be different than they are. True freedom is internal. And it's available to anyone willing to do the work. You don't control the economy. You don't control other people. You don't control whether you get the job, the relationship, the outcome you want. But you control something far more important. Your response. Your character. Your inner state. And that's enough. That's more than enough. Because when you master that, nothing can truly hurt you. Nothing can break you. Nothing can take your peace. You become like the Stoic sage. Not untouched by life, but unmoved by it. You feel everything. But you're controlled by nothing. The world will keep throwing chaos at you. It always does. Loss. Betrayal. Failure. Disappointment. Injustice. But with these 10 principles, you'll stand in the center of the storm, completely calm. Not because the storm isn't real, but because you've built something the storm cannot touch. An inner fortress. A sovereign mind. A free soul. That's what Epictetus is offering you. The question is, what will you start mastering today?